lands. Yep, Lyra picked up. Nova now could play Adagio Grumpjaw. That's something they did play yesterday. They have a lot of options on their side in terms of what they want to play here. But I know one comp that they did pick with the Grace was the Adagio Grumpjaw combination. So that we could see that come out today here, actually.
Yeah, we haven't really seen it have much success recently, but that is going to be the Adagio. You're absolutely right, Suijay. Once again, the Weatherman predicts the future. It is going to be the Adagio Grumpjaw heal composition coming on through. Now, Cloud9, like, how do you answer this with your final
Sky
pick?
or Rhyme? I don't know if Joseph plays Rhyme, though. Does he play Rhyme? Rhyme would be very good into this composition because they can just jump onto the Grumpjaw or the Adagio and just engage really hard with the fortified health and the heal from Lyra. However, Grumpjaw and Adagio are super bursty. So, like, I think Sky or Rhyme would make sense. Sky would counter this comp late game for sure. So Sky might be the option that Cloud9 takes here, but they gotta survive that early game aggression.
Could you see them potentially going for a Scarf as well? Because just Scarf into Grumpjaw with this composition, the Grumpjaw is so integral to getting in and being a bit of a front line for them that if you strip away all of those living armor stacks right off the bat, it can work really well.
Ooh,
but they are going to go for the Rhyme
instead of the Sky. Okay. I think this is more risky because I do like Joseph Sky. It's so good. I have not seen his Rhyme, so he's gonna have to land these skill shots, and this game will literally depend on how Joseph plays.
All right, so Joseph definitely going to be the player to watch here. We've seen Rhyme have great success into Grumpjaws in the past. How are we feeling about this Grumpjaw composition, though? Because as of recent weeks, we've talked about it a lot. Grumpjaw not having anywhere near as much success as it previously was. What do Nova have to do to actually use this composition correctly?
It's just going to be trying to work around this Rhyme. Like even for the side of Nova, Rhyme is the most important part of this game because they need to be able to get around the Rhyme and prevent him from being able to get as much fortified health as possible. They have to focus on leaving the Rhyme until later. It's very easy to just try and like focus everything onto the Rhyme, but he's going to take so long to kill. They need to focus on the Vox instead.
All right, well, we'll see how this one is going to go. This is going to be the third game of our second semi-final coming to your screens. Make sure to let us know who you want to take this one on Twitter using that hashtag Vainglory8. But it's time to get into the third and final game of the second semi-final and see who our second finalist will be. Cloud9 versus Nova.
Thank you very much, guys. My name is George, joined by Scoundrel once again. Game number 3, like they mentioned, Nova versus Cloud9. There's been a few upsets over the past week or over the past couple of days with Hat Rogue beating TSM. And now can Nova take this one, and can they go to the finals by beating Cloud9?
It's definitely possible, but we have seen a Rhyme eat apart this type of composition before. Gangstars specifically pulled out something very similar with Araki Zoro on the Adagio and obviously Xenotech on the Grumpjaw. Rhyme absolutely tore it apart because once the Grumpjaw was taken out of the picture, Rhyme just did, or rather the Adagio just didn't have the damage to deal with the Rhyme's fortified health. Is Joseph looking maybe to take that one away but doesn't get it? A very aggressive invade by Nova. They're actually going to go for the back camps here from Joseph too. That's really interesting. And it doesn't look like C9 are going to be able to punish that either. The direct punish for a back invade, especially when you commit your laner to it as well, is to have your laner rotate to their backs and then get something from it. But because of the positioning of Starboy, Old School wasn't able to find that easily.
That is super punishing of Cloud9. Man, Nova really, really want to win this game. They want to show that they can contend with the best. And now Truth and Starboy, they've got a lot of healing in this lane, and maybe this is something Cloud9 need to be not careful of, but more wary later on, and just got to keep in the back of their minds that, yeah, Truth, he's going to be able to heal up, but Starboy's going to be there too when Lone Delphi joins the fray. Is this a composition that when it gets late that Nova just can't be stopped, or is this Rhyme just going to outscale them completely?
I actually think that C9 are going to be doing better in the late game, and it is for multiple reasons. Rhyme does do well into Grumpjaw. I think Adagio's damage output might not be enough to deal with Rhyme once Grumpjaw is down. I think the combo between Grumpjaw and Adagio is very strong, but if the lockup onto Lone Delphi is good, then wait a second.
Oh, Old School was caught. Yep, there you go. Holy Nova to finish off the kill. Gabe Bizzle goes down as well to Lone Delphi. That was over before it even started, it seemed. Nova find the first 2 kills of the game, and Joseph wonders kind of what's all happening up in that lane.
Yeah, and Joseph not able to get into position to help that, and again, a little bit over-aggressive of Gabe Bizzle and Old School in lane, and Nova on the brink of starting a very interesting sequence of events, putting themselves right into the lead in the very get-go here. If they can get the advantage and run with it, they should be able to snowball this C9 composition. Another thing that I wanted to touch on about talking about counters and that kind of thing, I actually think that Poison Shiv is going to be a very influential item in this game. We know that Old School is going to build Poison Shiv. That's just sort of integral to Vox's build path these days, and it is very, very good against Adagio and Grace. There is not going to be a Poison Shiv realistically picked up for Nova, and if they do, they are building away from that Grumpjaw's path. So you're going to be able to essentially heal this Rhyme for free, making his fortified health more effective as well. That's one worry that I think is going to be sitting on the back of Nova's mind. Who actually builds a Poison Shiv? It might even be integral for Lone Delphi to pick it up, despite it not being the classic Grumpjaw weapon power build path.
Certainly not. Lone Delphi though wants to make something happen in this lane. Old School gets jumped on that Hangry, doing so much work. Sonic Zoom to get out in safety. Joseph in that front line, like you said, that 4-5 health doing a lot of work for him in this early stage of the game, and late stage of the game when he gets all too tanky as well. Delphi finds Old School again, just cannot find that Hangry landing. And now Joseph, oh, what? Hang on a minute, Joseph. Truth went straight over aggressive, and that's going to cost 2 kills now. And 2 of those will go over to Joseph. That is extremely good for Cloud9, and that is exactly the mistakes you want to best left avoided.
Yeah, you really do not want to be making those kind of mistakes as Nova when you've already taken a good early start against the C9 guys. Giving them 2 free kills and allowing them to round things out essentially is just going to, you know, make it a lot harder for you as this game progresses. And like we said, as this game goes on, you feel Joseph's going to get better and better into this composition. It is looking like Lone Delphi's going the classic Grumpjaw build path. He's going for the tension bow into the double turrets monocle, which does mean that it's unlikely that we're going to see a Poison Shiv anytime soon, meaning that Lyra is going to be even more viable. Usually, you know, Lyra does get shut down a little bit by a Poison Shiv. Not going to happen this game, you feel. There was an opportunity for Nova to really start this snowball off, but I mean, looks like C9 have kind of weathered the storm a little bit.
Right now they have, and especially with those 2 kills landing on Joseph as well, that's going to accelerate his growth. Nice bright bulwark to stop the advances of Lone Delphi. Takes a lot of trading damage as well. Oh, Starboy in a lot of trouble here. However, Holy Nova will just spring him to safety. Old School just punishing the lack of range that Nova have on their main engage tool, which is the Grumpjaw. Takes about half his HP and has to back off. Has got that tension bow finished, however, so we'll be able to do a fair chunk of damage if he does land onto a key target.
Do remember that Bright Bulwark can kind of shut this Lyra, Bright Bulwark can kind of shut Grumpjaw down as well. If you can Bright Bulwark predicting the ultimate of the Grumpjaw, it will stop him from moving through that Bright Bulwark, because technically the ultimate is classed as a movement ability, meaning that you can kind of don't need to crucible it or whatever. You can just try and use the Bright Bulwark to protect from it. So also a Valkyrie, good way of, if you know, position it really well, a good way of releasing a target from the Grumpjaw ultimate if Grumpjaw doesn't reflex block that Valkyrie coming out from Rhyme. He has now got Shatterglass first, something that we've seen a couple of the North American Rhymes do more often. There is the Bright Bulwark.
Oh my goodness, and it's stopped the stuffed as well. He just dives straight in though, gets the Hangry off into Old School, but look at that massive heal. Valkyrie comes down onto Starboy and Truth. They're forced to retreat, and now they just jump onto Lone Delphi. They cut him down. Old School is going to find that kill. Those discs are doing all too much damage, and I just can't get over the disengage from Cloud9. Gave Bizzle hot on the fingers using that Bright Bulwark to safety.
Don't you love it when you just talk about something and then it happens?
Oh yes, that's exactly what I was going to say.
It's always a nice feeling, just like you're just talking about something and it happens like literally right after. It was really nice play. And also you saw how difficult it is going to be for Nova to burst I Love Joseph down without the Poison Shiv. He's got the Shatterglass, which will make his fortified health a little bit more powerful, because remember, he gains fortified health based on the damage that he deals through his basic attacks, and those basic attacks scale with CP. So the more CP you get onto those basic attacks, the more fortified health that the Rhyme is going to get, and therefore the tankier he's going to be. You know, so that's a really good way of surviving as a Rhyme, is by having a Shatterglass, because you get the extra damage coming through your basic attacks, and that gives you the extra fortified health.
Nova, right now, how are they going to deal with this Rhyme in the late game? That's the scary thing. He's got a Shatterglass even first item, so packing even more of a punch. We are 7 minutes in. Not the gold lead hasn't really extended all too far in either direction. Now Joseph just happily farming up away on his little rhyme, and now Nova actually taking that. There's a chance to actually start this gold miner, but Gatevizzle will be here off to the sidelines and might actually dissuade Nova completely, and I think that's exactly what's going to happen.
They are indeed, and C9 just trying to do their best to stop this gold miner going. Has gold miner been? It looked like gold miner had been minion candied. I think he has. That just makes him even more powerful. That's a hard-hitting gold miner when he's got that minion candy on him.
I mean, to stop Cloud9 taking him, I guess. I don't know what that was about, but hey. They know better than me. But I mean, using that minion candy not on your own minion seems a bit odd, but hey-ho.
You don't see it very often, do you? There is the bright bullet coming out, but Grace had already managed to channel through her benediction, so did actually get through to her target.
How much, if at all? I know it doesn't affect the Kraken at all, but I'm trying to think why that would be used right there. I mean, you can just run up and then go, haha.
It makes it more difficult for the enemy team. He's going to hit harder, and that means it's a little bit more risky for the enemy team to go for it if they look for an engage, as the gold miner has been minion candied.
Oh, poor passageway. Lone Delphi's caught off to the side here. Hang on a second. That's going to be a massive crucible used as well. That's going to be a beautiful bright warlock stunned out yet again. Starboy, though, as the divine intervention. Valkyrie comes down versus Judgment 2. All the ultimates thrown into a basket, but who comes out alive? Lone Delphi is just going to get chased down. Cloud9 members refusing to die at this point, even though Starboy did use his ultimate to try and save one of them. They're just going to look for this turret.
And Joseph's going a very sustain-orientated build here as well. He's going for the Eve of Harvest, meaning that he's going to be even harder to take down in this fight. So they're going to get this first turret of the game. They're going to root up Starboy. They're going to look for a kill. But Starboy will run away. And this Rhyme seems to be the icy nail in the coffin of Nova right now. And Nova don't seem to have the answers.
Don't have the answers, but they need them. They need to be able to do this, Scoundrel. This is one of the teams that want to be able to prove to everybody and to Cloud9 that they can compete with the best up there. But right now, not looking so strong. Old School's going to be able to defend this turret, you can imagine, as he does push forward. That turret about a third HP right now. Lone Delphi, he's working towards one of those monocles, and he has the tension bow to his name at the moment. But then you look at the items across the board for Joseph and Old School. Shatterglass, Eve of Harvest, perfect for them. They got a poison shield and a tension bow, with that monocle just actually being finished by Lone Delphi. Cloud9 just outputting so much more damage than Nova can actually feasibly deal with.
And Nova don't have enough damage to get through the sort of the very sustain heavy front line that C9 have brought to the table. Again, we talk about that poison shiv. It's so effective against Lyra, but the build path that you have that's classically there for a Grumpjaw just doesn't allow you to achieve it. Joseph coming in here. Gold Miner is going to try and get finished off, but it gets stolen.
Oh my god, yeah, it did get stolen. Versus Judgment was a little bit too late, and Truth is just going to get jumped on here, but Old School is off in trouble in the sidelines. There's the stuff onto him, but Lone Delphi does get stunned up. They do manage to take out Old School, but they trade 1-for-1. Joseph still doing a lot of work. Valkyrie straight onto Truth. Does take him out with that Spire, and now Starboy is the last member alive for Nova. They're just going to chase him down at 4 or 5 health, doing a lot of damage, or a lot of work even. It does no damage technically. Cloud9 find the ace. They take the gold miner as well, and they're just going to take the turret too.
Not even technically, just doesn't do damage, Jules.
Yeah, not so, yeah.
But no, I mean, you could see, like, Rhyme almost virtually unkillable in that scenario. Old School, you know, well, there you go, just gets stopped in his tracks on the end of the Grumpy, trying to go on to Joseph right now, but they're going to force him to boots away. Gatevizzle's healing doing so much work as well that sustaining these fights is so difficult to deal with because, like we said, no way to reduce that healing right now from the Nova composition. I think what would be really unique is if you had an item in VG that allowed you to apply mortal wounds as a CP build path, you know? Like,
that
you deal a certain
interesting.
You deal a certain amount of CP damage and it applies mortal wounds, because then you wouldn't be limited to having to have a poison shiv in your build. It's just an interesting
thing. Kind of cool. Just interesting thought. Yeah, I can appreciate that. It's always fascinating, actually, when, well, I guess just MOBAs in general bring out new items and just slot them into the game, and people have to figure out where they belong and how new build and how it fits into newer build paths, and so that'll be an interesting item to be added maybe later on. There's only one way to apply mortal wound at the moment, and that's doing that weapon powered build. But
yeah, some people some people have it built into their kits, you know, like Taka, his ex-Retsu applies a Mortal Wound, but Fortress, he can apply Mortal Wounds, for instance, but yeah, for most CP carries, there aren't many ways to achieve that. So usually you're kind of almost constrained to having the weapon power carry build a Mortal Wound because heals are just so strong. In fact, Poison Ship is the reason the heal compositions got a lot weaker for a time, because it was just such a good item to build, and therefore heal comps were kind of countered by that specific item.
Heal comp is exactly the thing Cloud9 want to avoid quite heavily. I mean, the heal composition in general has been evolving over the last few months. And I look back to things like the Unified Championships and where Grace wasn't there, and you're saying, okay, so Lyra, Adagio, if a team if they got that, it wasn't over in the draft. It was just like, how did you let that happen? It's extremely hard to deal with. But now you throw Grace into the mix, this third humongous healer that comes into the game, and then fields Echo second item. It's even more terrifying for some of these compositions. Cloud9 now looking for something here. Now, but the problem is, Nova have to be the one not to react. They have to be the proactive one. They have to make sure Lone Delphi can find a key target with his stuffed. But at the moment, he's been denied more often than not. Speaking of denial, Cloud9 may be looking for a little something here. Brightborg has been used. This is Lone Delphi's time. He does actually swallow up Gabe Vizzle there, so this is going to just lead him.
There's the ultimate.
Get stunned up. Beautiful Valkyrie versus Judgment's not even going to finish his cooldown as Joseph just runs through them. Atlas Pauldron isn't going to stop them now. They might just find here another ace. Nova, Starboy again, last one alive. They're just going to chase him down. Benediction, not needed. Joseph comes up big. Old school as well. They find the ace, and there goes another turret.
And there was the Valkyrie releasing Gabe Vizzle from the clutches of the Grumpjaw Ultimate, and C9's sustain and damage output in these fights is just too hard to contend with here for Nova. That Adagio just not dealing enough damage, specifically to Joseph through that fortified health, to even pose a significant threat. The Crucible is there for the Adagio Ultimate too. It looks like Gabe Vizzle is working towards an Echo on the Lyra. A double Sigil can provide so much healing, and like we said, when it's not countered, that will just be, you feel, the death blow through healing for C9 against this Nova composition.
Damage doesn't kill you in this game, it's the healing that does. That's exactly what Cloud9, again, are looking to do. Heal up, same as Nova, but Nova hasn't got any heals at all. Echo has finished though. Let's not scratch that off the board just yet. Nova have got that massive frontline heal, but Starboy, more often than not, he is being left alone, yes, but Truth is just being taken out so quickly that he can't really do anything. He has hit the 3-item spike of the Alternating Current, Broken Myth, and the Frostburn there as well. But those Versus Judgments, Joseph is just shrugging them off.
The problem with this composition into a rhyme is that as an Adagio, you naturally need to follow up your front line. So you're just bringing yourself into the range of rhyme so easily. There's the block. Oh, it doesn't actually get blocked.
Well, yeah, it doesn't get blocked. Valkyrie's going to come down there. There's the first massive heal onto Lone Delphi. Might need to use another one in a minute. Holy Nova onto two of them as well. Another massive heal onto Lone Delphi. Does get reduced by Old School, though. Those Mortal Wounds applying the stacks. He almost falls down instantly, but Old School ends up just running and gunning him down. That's it. Game over. Cloud9, triple kill, ace as well. Scoundrel, what's happening? This is not going for Nova. Cloud9 are running all over them. They just can't find the fights.
It's just a compositional win for Cloud9. It's just a compositional win. There's no other way of sort of phrasing this. Cloud9 won this in draft, and they've executed it really well. Again, you know, not able to limit those Lyra heals means that this rhyme is virtually unkillable. 508 literally unkillable. And Cloud9 just going to win the game right here, right now.
Right here, right now. There goes one, there goes two turrets. The Hall of Nova have spawned, but are they going to be able to stop that damage? I don't think so. Old School sends one flying little disc at the Vein Crystal. Ends up going down, and that'll be Cloud9. Such a decisive, a little bit of an anticlimactic win. They seem to win it from almost minute one.
Yeah, it's just the rhyme pick, just so good, and the fact that it's so hard to limit that Lyra sustain onto him because of the way that the weapon power Grumpjaw naturally wants to build. Adagio wants to follow up on his melee frontliners with his Gift of Fire and his basic attacks, and that brings him quite nicely into the rhyme's range, which then allows him to chunk him down because he doesn't have any shielding. C9 played it so well into Nova. Nova really couldn't do much.
Beautiful play from Cloud9.